just dicking around. Just, what? Up over a guy.
Around. Jumped over. He didn't think to do that.
A few years ago, people across the NFL were asking the same question. What happened to Saquon Barkley? The explosive rookie who looked like the future of the league had become another injury story. After years of losing, devastating setbacks, and a career that seemed trapped in New York, many believed his best football was behind him. Then the Giants made one decision that changed everything. They let him walk.
Over 2,100 yards and break Eric Dickerson's long-standing record. He absolutely deserves the MVP.
What happened next wasn't just a comeback. It became one of the greatest seasons an NFL running back has ever had. Before he became the face of the Eagles offense, Saquon Barkley was one of the most exciting college players in America. At Penn State, he wasn't just a great running back, he was a human highlight reel. Every Saturday seemed to bring another impossible hurdle, another broken tackle, another play that made defenders look helpless. By the time the 2018 NFL Draft arrived, scouts believed Barkley was one of the best running back prospects in years. The New York Giants agreed, selecting him with the second overall pick. They believed they had found the player who would lead the franchise into a new era, and at first, it looked like they were absolutely right. Barkley exploded onto the scene as a rookie, finishing with over 2,000 yards from scrimmage and 15 total touchdowns. He won Offensive Rookie of the Year, and fans weren't just calling him good, they were already calling him one of the best running backs in football. His combination of speed, power, balance, and athleticism made him nearly impossible to stop. Everything seemed to be falling perfectly into place. Then, in week 2 of the 2020 season, everything changed. Against the Chicago Bears, Barkley took a handoff, planted his foot, and collapsed without being touched. Minutes later, the diagnosis came: a torn ACL. One of the worst injuries a running back can suffer. Recovering from an ACL injury isn't just about getting healthy, it's about trusting your body again, exploding through cuts, absorbing hits, believing your knee will hold up when everything is moving at full speed. Barkley worked relentlessly to return, but while he fought to regain his form, the Giants continued to struggle. Their offensive line ranked among the league's worst, the offense lacked consistency, and defenses knew Barkley was the biggest threat every single week. He was expected to carry an entire franchise with very little help. The explosive runs became harder to find. The highlight plays became less frequent. Slowly, the conversation around him began to change. People stopped asking if Saquon Barkley could become an MVP. Instead, they started asking if he was washed. More injuries followed: an ankle injury, a neck injury, missed games. Questions about his durability became louder every season. Meanwhile, new stars emerged around the league, and Barkley's incredible rookie year started to feel like a distant memory. The NFL had moved on. Some fans even argued that the Giants shouldn't offer him another big contract. One of the league's brightest young stars had quietly become an afterthought. Then free agency arrived. The Giants had a decision to make. They could pay the player who had carried their offense for years, or they could let him leave. They chose to let him walk. For many players, that would have marked the beginning of the end. Instead, it became the beginning of something no one saw coming. Because the team waiting for him wasn't just any team, it was the Philadelphia Eagles, the Giants' biggest rival. The move shocked the NFL. Giants fans felt betrayed. Eagles fans couldn't believe their luck. But no one realized that this decision was about to set the stage for one of the greatest running back seasons in NFL history. When Saquon Barkley signed with the Philadelphia Eagles, the expectations were high. Everyone knew he was talented, but after years of injuries and inconsistency, very few expected what was about to happen. For the first time in his NFL career, Barkley wasn't being asked to carry an entire offense on his shoulders. Instead, he joined one of the most complete teams in football. Behind arguably the league's best offensive line and surrounded by elite talent, defenses could no longer focus on stopping just one player. For the first time in years, Saquon had room to run, and once he found daylight, the NFL was reminded exactly who he was. From the opening weeks of the season, something felt different. The burst that made him famous as a rookie had returned. His cuts were sharper, his vision looked better than ever. Every time he touched the football, it felt like he had the chance to score. Week after week, the numbers continued to grow. 100 rushing yards became almost routine. Long touchdown runs became a regular part of every Eagles highlight reel. Defenders who thought they had the perfect angle suddenly found themselves watching Barkley sprint past them. But what made his season so special wasn't just the big plays, it was the consistency. No matter who Philadelphia played, Barkley delivered. Whether it was a top-ranked defense or a division rival desperate for a win, he kept producing. Every game added another chapter to what was quickly becoming one of the greatest rushing seasons the league had ever seen. As the weeks passed, the milestones started piling up. 1,000 rushing yards, then 1,500. Then the impossible started to feel inevitable. 2,000. By the end of the regular season, Barkley had rushed for 2,005 yards, becoming just the 9th player in NFL history to eclipse the 2,000-yard mark. Even more impressive, he reached that milestone despite sitting out the Eagles' final regular season game. Had he played, many believe he could have challenged Eric Dickerson's all-time single-season rushing record. Instead of chasing history for individual glory, Philadelphia chose to rest its biggest weapon for the playoffs. It was a decision that would pay off. The Eagles entered the postseason with momentum, and Barkley somehow found another level. Against the NFL's best defenses, he continued doing what he had done all season, breaking tackles, ripping off explosive runs, and taking over games when his team needed him most. Every playoff game seemed to produce another unforgettable moment. Every long touchdown run felt like another reminder that the player many people had written off was now dominating on football's biggest stage. By the time Philadelphia reached Super Bowl 59, Barkley had already completed one of the greatest rushing seasons in league history, but one final achievement still awaited him. The Eagles finished the job, capturing the Super Bowl and giving Barkley the championship that had always eluded him in New York. It was the perfect ending to one of the greatest comeback stories the NFL has ever seen. Along the way, Barkley also set the NFL record for the most combined rushing yards in a regular season and postseason, breaking a record that had stood for decades. He was named the NFL Offensive Player of the Year, becoming the centerpiece of one of football's most dominant offenses. Looking back, it's easy to assume Saquon Barkley suddenly became a different player in Philadelphia, but that's not what happened. The talent had always been there. The speed never disappeared. The explosiveness never vanished. What changed was everything around him. In New York, Barkley spent years battling injuries while carrying an offense that constantly struggled to help him succeed. Defenses loaded the box because they knew he was the Giants' biggest threat. Every yard was earned the hard way. In Philadelphia, he finally had the support every great running back needs: an elite offensive line, a dangerous passing attack, a coaching staff that knew exactly how to use his strengths. Instead of fighting just to reach the line of scrimmage, Barkley was finally able to do what he'd always done best: make defenders miss in open space. The result wasn't just a great season, it was a historic one. Years from now, fans probably won't remember all the debates about whether Barkley was injury-prone or whether the Giants made the right decision. They'll remember the breakaway runs, the 2,000-yard season, the Super Bowl championship, the MVP-level performances every single week. They'll remember a player who reminded the football world that greatness doesn't disappear overnight. Sometimes all it takes is the right opportunity. After years of doubt, injuries, and disappointment, Saquon Barkley didn't just save his career, he delivered the season everyone thought he'd have all along, cementing himself as one of the greatest comeback stories in modern NFL history.